I'm going to read 3 poems. Here's Eddie. I'm going to read 3 poems, 2 of them short, and one of the 2 short ones, written in 1982, and the other 2 from my most recent book, Save the Last Dance, for sale across the street. The dancing. In all these rotten shops, in all this broken furniture and wrinkled ties, and baseball trophies and coffee pots, I have never seen a post-war Philco with the automatic eye, nor heard Ravel's Bolero the way I did in 1945 in that tiny living room on Beechwood Boulevard, nor danced as I did then, my knives all flashing, my hair all streaming, my mother red with laughter, my father cupping his left hand under his armpit, doing the dance of old Ukraine, the sound of his skin half drum, half fart. The world at last a meadow, the 3 of us whirling and singing, the 3 of us screaming and falling as if we were dying, as if we could never stop. In 1945, in Pittsburgh, beautiful, filthy Pittsburgh, home of the evil melons, 5,000 miles away from the other dancing in Poland and Germany. Oh God of mercy, oh wild God. Short poem called Dream 3. I would like to live on air too, and I have an idea the kind of nourishment I'd get, with or without my strings, for what did I need them for? And all those gnarled roots beside the wilted rhododendron, and what did I need the dried out grapes for? And the wet leaves, and one harmonica under a rusted, burst out water pipe, and even a mangled sparrow under the porch, the way my brain works. A poem called Asphodel, the flower of the dead in Greece, among the Achaeans. And I'll just say this much about it. It celebrates a meeting I had with a guy on a train on the way to Virginia, but we met in Washington, and he had a cap on that said Korea Vet. And we talked about war. That's in the poem, but you'll hear it the second time. He was dead, so he was only a puff of smoke at the most, and I had to labor to see him or just to hear. And when we spoke, it was as if we were waiting in the rain together, or in a shelter on 96th Street, or by the side of a train in Washington, D.C., say, changing engines and patting each other's stomachs by way of intimacy. And he said what he wanted most of all when it came to trains was merely to stand on the platform looking out the dirty window at the water beyond the row of houses or the stand of trees. For it was distance he loved now, and the smell of the ocean even more than coffee. But it was only concoction, for he didn't have the senses anymore. And I forgot to say that he was a veteran, and he wore a green cap that had Korea Veteran printed on the face with 3 bright battle ribbons below the lettering. And I forgot to say his ears were large, the way it sometimes happens in older men, though he was dead. And he was on the train with his wife who had red hair of sorts and a dress that spread out like a tassel of silk. And war was what we talked about, and what the flowers were, the way a poppy was the emblem of World War I. And we both laughed at how there were no flowers for Korea, nor any poems for that matter. Though he was sad, and although he wore the hat, he said it was a stupid, useless war. Unlike Achilles, Odysseus talked to in hell, who loved his war and treasured the noses he severed and the livers he ruptured. And picture them selling their asphodel in front of a supermarket or a neighborhood bank. And picture us waiting until our ears were long just to hate just one of their dumb butcheries.